You have to kneel, then bend forward, move your hand, then finally fall, touching the whole of the earth. Then you have to lift the weight of the body, stand up. So this is such a beautiful exercise. Every time you do it, what happens? Blood rushes to the brain, and there is a brain bath taking place. How beautiful it will be. Suppose you are reading something and you are not able to understand it well. Prostrate 3-4 times and then read it again. Then you will find it becomes accessible to you. It becomes more intelligible. Now, a few days later, this cardiologist told me, Swamiji, after you mentioned it, I have started doing it. It's very, very effective. So, apart from the psycho-intellectual implications or relevance of a pranama, understand the pranama has got physical effect, exercise effect. And to whom is it owing? It is owing to yourself, the one who does it. So in doing the pranama, never think it is meant for another person. You express your humility. You express your relationship. You express your fondness and allegiance. The question is whether you want to express it or not, or you want to remain proud and conceited. If you want to remain proud and conceited, prostrate before nobody. But you have no right to question what another does. You may not do it yourself. Don't think the people who take to prostration are fools and they are lesser intelligent than you. It is never so. They are giants in the world, giants. They also do this. Our country has got great culture, my dear souls. Maybe many of you will take many more janmas to realize this. Our civilization started growing. It was being shaped in our country in the Gangetic plains in the prehistoric Vedic times. And read the Vedas, whether the Vedic thinkers were fools or master brainy people. Even now, the Upanishadic thoughts and the Upanishadic pursuits and the Upanishadic declarations, people are receding from, recoiling from. We are not able to understand them. They are superb, intellectual masterpieces. That is what people say. Janubhyam cha tatha padbhyam panibhyam urasadhiya shirasa vachasa drishtya pranamo ashtangayiditaha. Just imagine a civilization which has given in a poetic form what exactly is a full-fold prostration. 8 parts of your body should get involved in the prostration and touch the ground. I cannot demonstrate it. During my young days, our teachers used to give us the punishment. You know what kind of a punishment? It was not beating. It was not anything. There is a peculiar pose to be adopted by the body. You twist your legs, feet and stand. Then you also twist like this, catch hold. Now the legs are twisted, the hands also are twisted. And you are asked to bend. And both the elbows should touch the floor. Then get up. 2. So the teacher will say, now kneel like this and touch the floor 10 times. So we have to do it. Like this. No pain, nothing. No pain. It is not a prostration. This is what we offer in front of Lord Ganesha. You try it. Twist your feet, stand. Put the hands also in a twisted pose like this. Catch hold of the ears. And then, you know, you will not have any hip pain at all once you do it. Such beautiful, harmless exercises we have. You should honor a civilization which has been able to evolve and preserve this as a culture, rather than mocking at it as if it is a barbarous act, uncivilized act. I think you need a lot of civilization. Tvam mayaya trigunayatmani durvibhavyam vyaktam srijatyavasi lumpasi tadgunasthaha naidhair bhavan ajida karma bhirajyate vai Yatsve sukhe avyavahide abhirato anavadyaha tvam mayaya trigunayatmani durvibhavyam vyaktam srijasyavasi lumpasi tadgunastha naidair bhavan ajita karma bhirajyate vai yatsve sukhe avyavahide abhirato anavadyaha. We are speaking about Krishna, who was a human, born to Devaki of Vasudeva. Soon after his birth, he asked his father to carry him to the Vraja settlement. The Vraja settlement. Bring back a girl. And Kamsa was supposed to pick up the girl as the 8th child of Devaki. And when he was about to strike her, he did not know that it was a her. Strike the child on the rock, it simply slipped from the hands. And standing on the air, he said, I am not your enemy, he is born elsewhere. Try to find him out if you can. This is the way of providence. Providence is not afraid of anybody. Section 144 or the defense services of any country, it is not to trap the providence. Providence is providential. It is capable of overcoming any kind of a barrier that you put. How many years back was the impersonal voice pronounced? Kamsa, understand, you are going to be killed by the 8th child born to your sister. He wanted to kill the sister, he did not, he could not. Vasudeva intercepted and said, we shall give you the children. He agreed. And all the children were handed over to him. Ultimately, he made special arrangement to see that Devaki's last child is not missed by anybody. They were chained in a prison. Sentries were posted. All of them slept. Kamsa took the child. The chains that had locked his body, his feet, all of them became loose. He went to Vrindavana, placed the child, brought back the girl. All this happened. This is how providence successfully spins and weaves its missions. Understand it very well. Tvam mayaya trigunayatmani durvibhavyam. This Krishna, though born a human being, he was a very, very special birth, because something had to be achieved upon the earth. About 15 crores of wicked people had to be liquidated. This liquidation was a physical act, and it had to be accomplished not by an atom bomb or a hydrogen bomb. It had to be accomplished by physical encounter, so that none other than the wicked is ever involved in the venture. Suppose you drop a bomb. It is not the enemies alone that will die. Quite a number of plants will die, creatures will die, innocent civilians also will die. In Afghanistan bombing, how many people have died? Do we have an account? Here, only the wicked people had to be specifically sought and met. So it was by an open physical encounter. In Mahabharata war, 4.5 million soldiers had come, and everybody had an individual combat with the other, and all of them died minus 10. This is the type of encounter. So Krishna was born as a human for the purpose, and he engineered the whole mission. It's all over now. By ordinary talent, ordinary skill, it would not be possible. After all, many of those people were related to him. See, you can meet an enemy and kill him, but can you meet your own relative and kill him? It is not possible. So it requires a greater level of the mind. A mind steeped in dispassion, steeped in upeksha, renunciation, steeped in indifference. Tvam mayaya trigunayatmani durvibhavyam vyaktam srijatyavasi lumpasi tadgunastaha. My dear Lord, mayaya, by virtue of your own inscrutable power, trigunayatmani, trigunayatmani. The whole universe is a creation of sattva, rajas and tamas. In the individual also the same three gunas are functional. Durvibhavyam. it is not easy to understand the play of the gunas. The whole universe has practically no material source at all. We see the earth, we see the water, surrounding air, then different types of energy like fire, ultimately the whole space. Is there anybody in this world who can say where or what is supporting the universe? The entire material universe has not come from another matter. The other matter also is included in the material universe. So the material universe had come, if at all, from a supra-material source. It's a very simple logic. What is that supra-material source which could give rise to matter? Just imagine, Vyaktam srijasya vasi lumpasi tad gunasthaha. Remaining within the gunas, you bring about creation, preservation, and also destruction. At the same time, you are not involved in all these things. Tvam mayayat pragunayatmani durvibhavyam vyaktam srijasya vasi lumpasi tad gunasthaha naitair bhavan ajita karma bhirajyate vai. By all these activities, interactions, including massive destruction, you are the least affected. What is it that you are going to decide? You will destroy your own family and clan and then die, and then leave the body. What does it mean? Is there any human who is capable of bringing about the destruction of his own kith and kin and thereafter leave the earth? So you are not affected by any activity whatsoever, whereas the other human beings are always affected. First of all, they are bonded to their parents. Thereafter, they are bonded to their married partner, then to their children. Those children whose birth they rejoiced over, the very same children when they grow up, their behavior, character and interactions, they prove so disappointing, so afflicting to the parents, they start crying and weeping. So something called dispassion, unaffectedness, distancing, it is not found anywhere. In your case, it is not so. Your mind is never over you. Your intelligence is never subduing you. Your ego is never enslaving you. Your body, your mind, your intelligence, your ego, all of them are under your control and moderation. Karma bhirajyate vai yasve sukhe avyavahite abhirato anavadyaha. What is the reason? You are always floating in your own inner ecstasy and freedom. Inner ecstasy and freedom. There is such an abundance, such an affluence, such an self-sufficiency in you. You don't require anything from the world. Anything from the world. Nothing happens to you at all. So there is an anchor which you carry, which others are unable to understand and penetrate into. Such a great person you are. Naitair bhavan ajita karmabhihi ajyate vai. Whatever be the type of activities you perform, no activity binds you at all. You are remaining afloat. What is the reason? You have had a full insight over your own inner majesty. The soul that we call. Sve sukhe avyavahite. For ordinary people, the soul perception is impossible. They don't even understand what kind of a stuff is this mind. With the mind they function, with the intelligence they are guided, and they interact with the world of objects, with persons, places and events. In all these interactions, a variety of outcomes they gain. The whole life becomes external, sensory, object-based. But where from the interactions proceed, and where the interactional outcomes fall, and who or what sustains the interactions, they never care to think about. When you see so much of an expansive universe in front, what should be the expansiveness of the mind that reveals and gives you an experience of it? But nobody thinks about it. In your case, you are not so. Yat sve sukhe avyavahite abhirato anavadyaha. Stainlessly, in an unbound manner, unblemished manner, unsmitten manner, you are always exulting in your own inner ecstatic freedom. Now this description about Krishna is something that you have to very clearly understand. After all, it is a praise offered by the Devas. But this is Sreemad Bhagavatam, you should imagine. Right from the beginning, the Sreemad Bhagavata author said, Satyam Param Dhimahi. The entire text is to enlighten you, persuade you, compel you, lead you, insist upon you to contemplate upon the supreme truth. Contemplation upon the supreme truth is the sole goal and message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Message of Srimad Bhagavatam. And whenever they get an opportunity, they emphasize this. Now it is a praise of Krishna by the Devas. Right in the second verse, they are trying to project before you the soul dimension in the human personality. See, we have got 3 states in us. The wakefulness. When I say wakefulness, you should understand it. You as an individual, you are waking up. Your waking is completely your wakefulness. The world has nothing to do there. After you wake up, you are perceiving the world. So the perception of the world is the second factor. The first in the series is your own intrinsic, innate wakefulness. And as long as the wakefulness is there, the perception of the world and interactions with it also are there. At the end of the day, the whole wakefulness comes to a stop and you go to sleep. And what is the sleep? Whatever you had, you did, you knew, you experienced in the wakefulness, everything stands obliterated in sleep. And when you slept, I slept. I slept. There was nothing else besides me. So if sleep is something that you experienced alone as the subject, where were the objects gone there? None of them was there. So the objects come and go, but the subject does not go. Now you tell me very clearly whether you are the subject that slept or the objects you saw in wakefulness. You are the subject. Krishna is one who has realized this. All our wakefulness is something like waves and breakers upon the sea, the bubbles on water. No bubble is separate from the water. So let anything take place in the wakefulness. It is all in the object ken. In the subject level, nothing happens. You sleep comfortably. To wake up to say, I slept comfortably, comfortably, comfortably. So the wakefulness, your extension, is something that you can wipe off in sleep. Nothing goes wrong. So you are that. Sleep is a state beyond the gunas, beyond the 3 gunas. There is no awareness there at all. This you should understand. Now Krishna is one who has understood it. Everybody has a scope to understand this. But we neither realize the scope nor employ it properly or utilize it properly. That is our problem. I would like to dwell upon this philosophical portion a little more. Sushuptavat prashamita bhava vrittina tathastidam chagraditena chetasa kalanvito vidhurivayas sadamuda nishevyate mukta iti hasasmritaha. Sushuptavat prasamita bhava vrittina tathastidam jagraditena chetasa kalanvito vidhurivayas sadamuda nishevyate mukta iti hasasmritaha. This is what sage Vasishtha tells Sri Rama. And what was Sri Rama's age? 16 years old. And Vasishtha had an 18-day-long conversation with him, dialogue. Sushuptavad, as if one is asleep. Prasamita bhava vrittina. All the wakeful interactions that you have during the wakefulness, all of them have become very sublime, serene. You are seeing, but you are not attracted to what you see, nor are you repelled from what you see. You are hearing. Whatever you hear is not able to create a disturbance in you. either in the way of an attraction, affinity, or a repulsion, resentment. Like that, the senses are interacting, but the interactional effects are not, making you tense, or stressed up. Prashamita bhava vrittina. There is certainly a time, there is certainly a process by virtue of which mind will remain flexible, and unaffected. As if you were asleep. Tatha sthidam jagradhitena cetasa. When the mind becomes sublime, all the activities, interactions, interactional imprints are not able to create disturbance in you. Tatha sthidam jagradhitena cetasa. Your wakefulness will become very beautiful. You will not feel loaded. You will not feel tensed up, stressed. There is no agitation. Interactions become a process of relaxation. They become enriching. You enrich the world by interaction. You enrich the world or surroundings. If it is in the house, your presence and interaction are welcomed by the house members. If you are in a professional front, your presence and interactions will be equally looked for by them. That kind of a beautiful personality you become. Kalanvito vidhurivaya sada muda. How can you liken this? Yes, you can liken it. We have particularly two brilliant orbs on the sky. One is the sun. The sun rises and sets, no doubt. But there is no reduction or increase in the size of the sun. Maximum it seems to be traveling north and south, that's all. But so far as the moon is concerned, it waxes and wanes. On new moon day, it totally disappears also. Whether the moon waxes or wanes, does anything happen to it? After the waning, new moon day comes, it seems to be dying. And on the next day, as a small section, it rises. Then it becomes on the full moon day beautiful again. So the brilliance of the moon is never affected. Waxing and waning are consistently going on, and seeming disappearance on the new moon day. But with all these waxing and waning and disappearances, does anything happen to the moon? No. In the same manner, kalanvito vidhurivaya sada muda. Throughout the wakefulness, the wakeful life, sada muda nishevyate. You must always be graced by contentment, delight, rejoicing and exultation. Such a person is called Mukti-skandham sasmritaha. He is the really liberated man. Don't think that the liberated man will always be sitting, closing his eyes. If a man is inactive, then what problem is there? No problem at all. No problem at all. You chain a dog during the day. He remains there, keeps quiet. Is he liberated? Certainly not. To be liberated means to be functional. And while you are functional, active and interactive, the mind should be sublime, it should be serene, it should not have any stress or strain. Even if it has a stress or strain, it should not feel stressed up. So in any interaction you will find uneven responses will be there, outcomes will be there. But the mind should be flexible enough, expansive enough, deep and lofty enough, profound enough to assimilate and to get enriched by all these. That is what we want. Kalanvito vidhurivaya sada muda nishevyate mukta-skandham sasmritaha. Now you tell me whether the state of liberation is a state of quiet, a state of non-action? Certainly not. Our Shastras don't recognize it at all. Meditation is necessary. Practice of Samadhi also is inevitable, we agree. But the state of supreme wisdom, enlightenment, the state of liberation, Jivan Mukti, is one of normal action and interaction. Sushuptavat prasamita bhava vrittina tathastitam jagrati tena chetasa kalanvito vidhurivayas sada muda nishevyate mukta iti hasasmritaha. This is from Yoga Vasishta. There is another verse which Shankara says in Upadesha Sahasri. That is also very beautiful. Sushupta vajjagradiyo na pashyati dvayam tu pashyannapi cha advayatvataha tatha cha kurvannapi nishkriyaschayaha sa atmavin nanya iti iha nishchayaha. As I told you, this is a beautiful verse from Upadesha Sahasri of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is a very well established Advaita Acharya. His is actually the Advaitic contribution to the spiritual philosophy of India. So you can imagine how firmly and steadfastly he will prepare his propositions. In this verse of Upadesha Sahasri, he is expressing the zenith and the fulfillment of the Advaitic thought and realization. See what he says. Sushupta vajjagradiyo na pashyati dvayam tu pashyannapi cha advayatvataha. Shall I explain it? Will you all be with me when I explain? Sushuptavad jagradiyo na pashyati. Jagrati, in the jagrat, in the wakeful state. Sushuptavad, as if one asleep. Yo na pashyati, he who does not see.